Just imagine your car breaks down and you find out you have to pay an $800 fee to fix whatever the heck is wrong with your car. Now, are you one that has to go to their credit card, or do you have your emergency savings in place? Recent studies are showing that about 53% of Americans are uncomfortable with their emergency savings funds, whatever that may be, according to Bankrate.com. So first, let's define what actually is emergency savings. This is not gadgets. This is not a vacation. This is stuff that is actually an emergency. For example, you're jobless, your car broke down, or you have a medical bill. All of those things can be classified as emergencies. Now, the real question is, what are we doing to prepare, especially in times like these? Now, why does this matter? There's emotional and logical reasons. First off, this brings just peace of mind, knowing that if your car were to break down or you did go jobless, you know you have some extra money in the bank that is readily available to you in case something like that happens. So it's just peace of mind first off. Second off, just logically, we know that if you're going to use your credit card, your interest is going up and ultimately you're spending more money and it adds more stress and you're not progressing towards any of your financial goals that you maybe have set. Once again, so many people are feeling like they are not progressing, they are not moving forward. You've been alive for 30, 40, however many years, and you have nothing to show for it. And so this is why it's so important that we focus on our emergency savings, and especially the times we're in, and then we start to work on other things. But that is one of the very first things you should do when you are budgeting. So let's talk about the different levels of emergency funds. So on the screen here, I'm going to show you the 3 different buckets is what we'll do. And so in these 3 different buckets, you have your starter fund, you have your next step, and you have your advanced, okay? And so in this starter fund, the famous Dave Ramsey recommends that we start out with $1,000. Many of you may think that's even crazy. How am I going to save $1,000? You may be feeling that way. And I challenge you to just start with $20. Just get $20, open up a separate account, a high yield savings account, something. Put $20 in and start from there. But this is the starter fund. Get anywhere, I would say, what you would feel comfortable with. I would say $1,000. I would agree with Dave Ramsey. But maybe $500 to $750 is okay as well. But try to get $1,000 in that starter fund. Okay, now what does that next step look like? That next step is going to be 3 months of expenses for you. And I would say 3 months comfortably living. Now, of course, if you actually got an emergency and had to use that money, you probably would be living a lot more frugally. Set aside 3 months of expenses for you and your family, that whatever that amount is, and you should know that. For many, I feel like a good amount is about $15,000. And so for 3 months, that's $5,000 per month that you're spending. Okay, so that's the next step. Now advanced. Now you're starting to look at 6 months to a year. This is very difficult to do, takes a really long time. My wife and I have not even gotten here. We are still currently working on that next step of about 3 months worth of emergency savings, but we're getting close. We have a few different goals in mind, but we're getting close to that. And then eventually down the road is when we'll start to work on our advanced. But advanced, you're looking at least 30 to 40,000 most likely, because let's say your monthly expenses are an average of $5,000 per month. 6 months, that's 30,000, but it could be more, it could be less, just depends on your living situation. But that will take a while to save up for, the 6 to 12 months. Okay, so if you are feeling discouraged with this or where to even start, the very first step is to set up a separate account from your regular bank where you can store this emergency money, okay? So set up a separate account, and like I said, I challenge you guys to just put $20 in if you haven't started, and that's the very first step. Now, some steps you can do to progress towards that is trying something like every single paycheck, you're basically gonna pay a bill to your future self. So Whenever you get that paycheck, you get a paycheck of $2,000, $2,500, whatever, every 2 weeks. You just say, okay, I'm going to take $100 out of that paycheck and I'm going to set it aside for my emergency fund, and I'm going to immediately transfer it to whatever separate account you've opened every single paycheck. So you can set up a system like that, or you could just wait till the end of the month and see how much money you have left over and transfer that money over. Or you could take your bonuses, if you get bonuses at your work, and take all of that and move it over. Whatever, you got to figure out something, but what I would highly recommend is paying a bill to your future self. And this ensures that you get into a good habit and are making sure that you are setting yourself up for the future. You do not want to get stuck in a situation where you don't have any money and you have to use your credit card. And guys, the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because we are living in some pretty crazy times. And I think now more than ever, we need to have an emergency savings. We need to be preparing for the future. So start now, don't wait. Now is the time. That is all for today. Thanks for joining me on The Budget Dad with Isaac. Looking forward to spending more time with you guys in the future. See you soon.